Most golfers spend hours on the range working on perfecting their swing and trying to hit the perfect shot over and over. But what if I told you the best way to improve wasn't swinging a golf club better, it's thinking better?
I'm not gonna out ball strike you to death. I'm not gonna out putt you to death, but there's no reason why I can't outthink you.
For the last 3 months, I've been journaling my golf rounds and it has completely changed my game. I'm going to share with you my journaling notes from these 9 holes so you can learn how I think my way around a golf course and reflect on my rounds afterwards. Let's do it right meow. I start this tee shot off with a good target that's center left of the green and let it fly. I was committed to my target with a good visual, so I noted this in my journal as a well-executed shot. It's always important to highlight the shots that make you feel good and reflect back on some of the good things you did during the round. This is a prime example of how journaling can help you reflect back to mental errors that oftentimes we might attribute to just an execution error. My ball landed in a wet, spongy area of rough. I did acknowledge the potential difficulty of this shot, but I didn't give myself a realistic practice swing to understand how the club was going to interact into this wet rough. Had I taken that extra step to think through this, I might have changed my swing or even picked a different club, so I'm going to jot this down in my journal as a mental error. I left myself with a 40-foot putt, which was always going to be difficult to judge on wet grass early in the morning. Leaving this about 4 feet short isn't that bad of a putt. Unfortunately, I just pulled it and made a bogey. Without journaling, it would be easy to get stuck on the 3-putt and completely overlook the poor mental process that put us in that position. The flag was about 85 yards on the green, and I decided to go with a full 60-degree here. This was just a poor decision because I never hit full wedges, especially not a full lob wedge. I can't tell you how many times I've written in my journal, Kenny, do not hit full wedges. Fortunately, I was able to save myself here with some solid short game, but good short game is never an excuse for poor strategy. Nothing to see here, just got a bit jammed up and thinned this one over the back of the green like a bullet. It helps if you can record your rounds and journal them because you can also reflect on when you have poor setup. I was just standing a little too close to the ball and didn't really give my arms enough space to clear my hips. Just got a little jammed up and thinned the shot. Early in the morning and I forgot to stretch, so just running into some lower back pain here. This is what a well-practiced short game shot looks like. I'm mimicking exactly what I'm trying to do out of this wet grass and giving myself a realistic idea of what to expect. And as a result, we put ourselves in position to get an easy up and down.
Thank you.
It's super important to journal and reflect on times where you follow a good process, especially after a bad result. Obviously, I would like every video I put out there to be perfect, but I am far from perfect. I was having some shooting pain in my lower right back, which was making me very afraid to side bend down and compress the ball. As a result, I hit another thin bullet over the back of the green, which put me in a very difficult spot to get up and down. Much like the previous hole, I take my time to visualize my short game shot and really understand what I'm trying to do.
We gotta land this at least 30 to get it on.
I can tell from the wet rough that I'm going to have to use more speed and more loft to get this ball high enough to try and stop it. I hit the shot to perfection, but there was just no way to stop it with the slope on the green. I mean, I hit the flag stick, and even that didn't stop it. Left myself with about a 28-footer for par and rolled this right up to the hole for a good bogey.
While I'm nursing my wounds.
Another thing that I love journaling is when I make good bogeys, and this is one of them. I couldn't control the bad shot off the tee. All I could do was put myself in the best position to give myself a look at par by picking a solid recovery strategy and taking it one shot at a time. This round is off to a very tough few holes.
All right.
My posture and setup are getting a little out of whack, and I'm just not making good contact with the ball. It's rounds like this that are the best to journal about because it's easy to reflect back when things go well. It's much harder to look back on when things go poorly and find the silver lining. This is a great example of following your process and not allowing the previous shot to influence your next shot.
I'm gonna choke down on it just because it's sitting a little low. And it's gonna either come out and it's gonna land right in front of the flag, or it's gonna land just behind it. I'm seeing just behind it.
I had a number, a target, and a landing spot picked out. I also decided that I was going to strike this ball well. As you can tell from the massive divot that I took, I definitely got into side bend, went down, and compressed this ball to get a good quality strike. It's important to journal and reflect on moments like this so you can learn to understand that good golf is not about hitting perfect shots. Good golf is usually about hitting bad shots, staying resilient, and learning to accept that good things can and do happen. What an amazing birdie. I struck this ball very solid. My alignment was just more left of where it should be.
Yeah, I just pulled it.
I noticed that on this hole, I tend to align more left. It could be something to do with the fence. This is a great thing to journal. If you happen to play the same course over and over and you notice that you tend to miss in the exact same spot, might be something to just look into.
How in the hell did that stop?
This ball checked up out of the rough. Just an unfortunate bounce. Nothing we can really do about it. I hit the shot exactly as I intended. This left me with an aggressively sliding 7-footer left to right. Nothing to really journal about there. I played it high, still missed a little low. This is just a normal bogey. Sometimes they happen. This was a great setup and a great strike. It was definitely an error to miss on the right side of this green, but I had no idea that the ball was going to fade when I hit it.
Good strike.
Some days it just be like that. I find that when I journal and reflect back on my rounds, it becomes easier to identify in real time on the course when you execute a shot well, but get a less than perfect outcome. With a tough shot below the green and the hole sloping away, I'm very proud that I was able to acknowledge to myself that I hit the shot exactly where I intended to hit it. I hit this putt on a good line, but the speed was just a bit too firm. One thing to look out for when journaling is patterns.
Just a tad too high.
And one thing I noticed from journaling is that I miss a lot of short 3 to 4 foot putts.
That was just fucking stupid.
This is a great thing to identify because you can go into your next practice session with the goal of figuring out why, and that's going to help you improve your game by working on things that are actually impacting your scores. It's okay to be frustrated while you're playing because it's a normal human emotion. Too many times we try to control our feelings instead of just accepting them for what they are. They're just thoughts, and they don't have to control us, and we can let them out. In the moment, it's often difficult to identify what's not working well, but journaling your rounds will help you easily separate feel from real. I'm just getting a bit too over the top of my irons, and I'm hitting weak fades. This isn't news to me, and reflecting back on this round while journaling makes it easy to identify that this is a pattern that I will always have to work on. This was actually a great chip that just didn't release as much as I expected. Sometimes I like to put a little check mark on my scorecard when I'm tracking greens and scrambling to remind me for journaling later that I follow good strategy despite what the score might show. And this is just a tough putt. I mean, it's probably playing 2 or 3 cups outside and inside of 7 feet, but it swings like Vince Vaughn.
And how am I supposed to kill this bunny?
And you're poking at it, man. You're poking at it.
Yeah, you're not hurting it. You're just kind of gently batting the bunny around. You know what I mean?
Commitment to a solid drive on this hole. Nothing else to report here.
I can't stop hitting it at that palm tree.
I love talking myself through shots. Whether you do this inside your head or out loud like a crazy person, it's a good practice to be clear about what you're trying to do so you know how well you executed it.
Position 154.
I hit this shot exactly as planned. I would most certainly highlight this in my journal as a memorable A+ shot. It can be deflating to hit so many good shots, put yourself in position to score, and not get the result you want. But hey, that's golf.
Oh, too good.
That's what I get for trying to baby it.
That was a nice roll.
Playing.
Always a pleasure, man.
Playing.
Hope to see you next week, man.
My score doesn't reflect how well I played, which is why journaling is very important. I made one very poor mental error throughout this entire round. And even though I missed some short putts, which is definitely something I'll have to work on, I showed a lot of mental resilience and discipline when scrambling to get myself back in a good position. Journaling my golf rounds has helped me better identify exactly where to improve, but also separate feel from real. I'd highly recommend journaling your rounds if you want to improve your golf game and improve your ability to think better around the course and ultimately score better when you're playing. Now, that's all I got for you. Deuces, people. Let's keep it moving.